get the antibiotics
I'm hoping
Get all that stuff.
and praying that mass is, that's what it's not.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna know until they get the PET scan.
It is cancer for sure.
I think when they did the CT scan or whatever they did here, they said that this looks like cancer. Still don't know what testing.
So he was pretty confident it was.
They just didn't know what level.
Yeah.
So
Aizue. Arratsaldeon. Arratsaldeon. Ongi etorri, gure Bigarren Klasea. Welcome to our second class. So the first class was a lot of introduction and explaining. So we're gonna slowly evolve, and I'm gonna try to make it, a lot more, interactive, a lot more back and forth throughout the classes, practicing pronunciation, saying some things. We're all gonna do some of that. And so I put this up last time, ni Etíen nice, which is I am Etíen. And so we're gonna start with that. Everybody's gonna introduce themselves. The pronunciation of it is ni, your name, and nice. That's just like nice, like the weather is nice. It's the same exact pronunciation. And that is I, Etíen, am. Etasu, I'm just explaining to you what all of this is up here. Etasu means and you. And most of the time you'll hear it like that, etasu, which is and you, what is your name? But also, this is, when you're asking somebody's name, there are different ways to do this, but this is the easiest and the most commonplace way to do it, which is nola dusu isena. Isena is name. This means how do you have your name? And again, this is the same as this. Ni Etíen nice, I am Etíen. Etíen dut isena. I have the name Etíen. That's what that means. Well, we're just going to start with this. Ni Etíen nice. You like my fly swatter? I'm trying to dust these flies. Gosh, I know. So I will start. We'll go this way, I suppose. Ni Etíen nice. Etasu.
Ni JB nice. Etasu.
Ni Hubert nice. Etasu.
Ni Dustin nice. Etasu.
Ni Maylus nice. Etasu.
Ni Shirley, what is it? Nice. Etasu.
Ni Katie nice. Etasu. Ni Renee nice. Etasu. Ni Noel nice. Etasu. Ni Angie nice. Etasu. Ni Becky nice. Etasu.
Ni Aiden nice. Etasu.
Oshono. That was very good. Okay, so I'm going to do it again with this one. This one, this is pronounced doot, like to do something with a T at the end, doot. And that T in Basque, it's a soft, it's doot. It's not like a doot. That's the difference between English and Basque. It's almost like if there was a D in front of the T, right? Doot. And then isena. And we're going to go over a lot of pronunciation right now, today, about being able to read this, being able to understand what letters make what sounds. So, nola dusu isena.
Ni JB nice.
Say it with this one.
JB dut isena.
Hubert dut isena.
Dustin Dut Isena.
Maylus dut isen.
Am I supposed to say?
You're supposed to say that sentence every morning with your name next.
Can you see it, Grandma?
Shirley Dut Isina?
Isen.
Isina? Isina.
Isena.
Isina.
There you go.
Katie Duke Isena. Renee Duke Isena. Noel Duke Isena. Angie Duke Isena. Becky Duke Isena.
Aiden Duke Isena.
Oshono. Okay, so I don't even remember what I told you guys to read. I told you to read to a certain point last time.
That's good. I read that.
Hey, I'm the guy in charge. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. He's been drinking all week. No, I told you to read to, I asked you to read until
Doing things with words.
doing things with words, that's right. Just a quick show of hands, who read it?
I was not raising it.
Okay, it's okay.
I read it.
It's okay. All right, good. Good. I would like to just start with, last time you guys got my whole spiel about everything. I would like to know if you guys have any questions, preliminary questions, if you guys are curious about anything in particular, about anything. I would love some feedback, just in terms of, whatever.
Your comment before, when you started the class and you emphasized that we already know the hardest language
Yeah,
is so true. And the exercise in dialogue 1, for me, I was starting to write all that shit down, and it took too much time, so I kept reading it, rereading it.
yep,
That's stuck for me.
yeah,
And it was a shorter time frame.
yeah.
So the feedback is, I liked your introduction, and it really put things into perspective.
Yeah, right on. Anything else? Does anybody else have anything? I had a conversation with Katie the other night at the bar, and she was just asking me some things, how to say in Basque. And I told her, like I had explained last week, Basque it's not like English. It really does cut right to the point. And I was explaining to Katie that there's not a lot of like chitter chatter. Like, I don't know, it's, they're kind of a stoic people. I mean, they're very just, they're very much like, I always, like, when I first started learning, I was like, they're like rocks, they're like stones, they're just like these things that, and it's like, it's not commonplace like how we do here, like to a stranger, to like greet them with like a how are you. They don't do that really, like on the street. The most you'll say to a stranger, just in passing or anything, is just hello, alba or kaisho. Unlike here, it's any, you go, how you doing in the store, whatever. And there's just not any of that. And also, like when it comes to ordering drinks, or ordering food, you might, we have a bad habit as Americans of over thanking and, always apologizing, when something happens. We say sorry a lot. We say thank you like 10 times. And there's not any of that either. In one encounter at the bar, you might say thank you one time, and it's usually good for the whole night. You say thanks once. And so, yeah, just back to that, like in terms of what it is that you're dealing with. There's not all this just like extra stuff, it's really to the point, which, I hope encourages you to be like, it's not, when somebody's talking to you, when somebody's saying something to you, they're saying something to you, it's not just to pass, the moment, which is, it makes it easier. Like when I first started learning, it was like, I knew like a little bit and I'd be able to say something and then they'd say something back. And I was like, wow, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what they're saying. And as I got further along, I was slowly getting more about what they were saying. But what I learned to do was just follow the dialogue, one step at a time. And it was like, okay, if it starts at, hello, how are you? What could possibly, they're not asking me, about science, what's the next thing they're asking me? They're asking me, maybe what's your name? And it was like, I started to just like, if I could just pick out one word, I didn't know what no la dusui sena. When I first started, I would ask people, Serda Sure Sena, which is what is your name, directly translated in English. And they didn't understand me. They were like, because they don't ask it like that. And when they would ask me, I only ever heard this. All I heard was Isena. I didn't know what no la dusu was. And from there I was like, and I would just wing it, and so these you're gonna pick out some key things, and that's what it is. It's a dialogue. It's open. It's not, it shouldn't overwhelm you. So I think we should. Can everybody say Arachaldeon?
Arachaldeon.
Arachaldeon. Arachalde is afternoon. There's many variations of this, but this is everybody will understand you if you say Arachalde. The two R's are always rolled. Single R's, like in Euskara, is a, and this, you know, this is explained in here, but it's a trilled R. It's almost a roll, but it's, you know, it's you hit it, you know, you don't, we move through R's in English, you know, they're very soft, but it's like a D, Euskara, you know. Two R's rolled, Arachaldeon. A's, again, compared to English, the phonetics of Basque are very straightforward. Things only make one sound. So for the basics, A is always A, always A. A does not make the A sound in Basque. And I will try to do my best to just speak when I refer to them with the Basque alphabet. It's similar, I don't know if any of you guys know Spanish, it's similar to the Spanish alphabet. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, E, G, H, I, J, K, L, A. There's no double L. L, A, M, A, N, A, O, P, Q, R, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. No, X is Z. X is X. X is X, and then Z is Zeta. Z is Zeta, which is easy. That's like the easiest one, you know, to remember. Is Zeta. Z-E-T-A.
Irakaslea.
Yes.
Saturday, that's Y.
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 Yeah,
You skipped Y.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of right there is no Y.
Oh, no Y.
Yeah, no Y.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they don't use Y.
It says it in there too.
Oh,
Yeah,
I read
phonetically,
it.
you
Need to
phonetically you will hear.
I read it.
Like in Iparralde, so the standard word for now is orain, O-R-A-I-N. In Iparralde, this means now. In Iparralde, they pronounce it Y. They don't say orain. And you can understand how it gets to that. It's, you know, it's just like saying, you know, why. That's just how they say it. But in terms of written, and I don't know how they write it, how they write Y. But there is no Y. So I'm just gonna go through this about pronunciation. I'm gonna get you guys all to keep pronouncing some things. So Arachaldeon. Arachaldeon. So that T-S. T is day, but this is where phonetics change. Every letter is not always pronounced as it is solo. There are combination letters, T-S, T-X. There's one. We're gonna get to it. The TS is it's borderline. It's in Arachaldeon, it's a ch, but it can be softer than that. It can be like a ch, you know. S before T, which is another way of saying Arachalde, which is Arashti. S before T is just a sht, you know, show with a T at the end. And then again, alde, A-L-D-E, alde, is pronounced exactly how you see it. You know, once you keep practicing how the things are pronounced, when you read it, you know, you'll get that. You just sound it out. I mean, it really is. It's not confusing like English. Like again, where Pacific Ocean has 3 C's in it, every C is pronounced differently. It's not like that. So me, nice, this AI, this is another one of those combination. AI is pronounced I, nice. Etasu, nola, no, that N-O, that O, it's not nola, you know, it's nola. That O is softer, it's O. There's a lot of U's, a lot of Z's, a lot of K's, a lot of T's, a lot of X's. That U, because that's how it's pronounced, is U. So dusu is pronounced just how it's spelled. I always makes the E sound, so isena. Z is again that s. It's not izena. It's not how we pronounce Z. It's isena. And then again dut and isena. So we're gonna go through these words. I'm gonna have everybody. We're gonna pronounce some things. I don't know if we want to do it all together or one at a time. I guess it's probably easier to just keep going through it like that. It's important to listen. Obviously, not everybody, speaks it anyways. So you don't want to get the wrong way to say it. But if you hear how I say it, and then you hear how other people say it, it honestly helps to hear people pronounce it subpar, because it registers in your head. If you never hear anybody say this and you just read it, you're gonna try to sound it out, right? But if you hear somebody say it correctly, and then also somebody who doesn't say it totally correctly, your brain registers both of those, and it's very productive in the act of remembering how to pronounce things, because you have a contrast. You go, no, I know it's, and I know I struggle with that, or I know it's, but I know there's the right way to say it. So we're going to go down here to pronunciation and spelling on page 8. And I'm going to say the word, and then we're just going to go down the line. I'm going to say it first, and then you just repeat it, okay? So we'll start with you. Autobusha.
Autobusha.
Badakisu.
Badakisu.
Dustin. Barkatu.
Barkatu.
Eskerikasko.
Eskerikasko.
Meshedes. Meshedes.
Oh,
This is a good one, Katie. So there's many different ways to pronounce this. Euskaldun is how this one is spelled. Euskaldun. Euskaldun. What's easier, and this is what I did the whole time, and it's not incorrect at all. This is how it's only pronounced in the north in Ibarrade, is they switch that EU is difficult for English tongues, Euskaldun, but they spell it E-S-K. U-A-L-D-U-N. So it's Eshkwaldun. That wall is a lot easier for us to say. Eshkwaldun. Eshkwaldun. Much easier. And I highly encourage that. You're gonna have to figure out how to pronounce the things, and and it's not cheating. It's not the incorrect way to say it. And you say this a million times, and Euskaldun comes off just as easy. It does. You'll eventually get it. Eshkwaldun, very good, Katie. Oshondo. Hondartsa. And Oshondo means very good. I will be trying to respond in Basque.
How do you spell it?
Yeah, spell it. Oshondo. And that S, so that S in Basque is generally a sh. The S alone is a sh. So again, Eshkwaldun, Oshondo. But it can be pronounced also. It can be pronounced with an American S, an English S. There are very, very vast towns when you get into like the thick of it, and they don't show anything. The Z's and the S's are all the same, and it's very beautiful. But you know, it's all stylistic. It's besides the fact.
Can I just ask, so the S
Yeah.
above though, in the
Arachale, yeah.
is because it's the TS
Because
combo,
it's the TS combo, exactly,
but
exactly.
an S solo otherwise.
S solo is right, exactly. And so, you know, that's like if you know when you read that and you're trying to sound out every letter, right? You quickly realize you're okay. I'm doing something wrong, right? Because you're like arat, arats, arats all day on, right? And you could say arat all day on, right? But even in English, that's how you're gonna want to, you know, it's gonna come off as a tss, like a hard S, right? But arat chaldeon, it's like a ch. Aisu, Aisu. Kaisho, Hanche, BC,
BC.
Posik,
Osik.
Ghetto,
Ghetto,
Nungoa,
Nungoa.
Tranean.
Trinan. Oh, did you skip noon? Sorry.
No, yeah, I mean, it's in there. Nungoa is where from,
Yeah.
and maybe we should say,
Oh, it's already there, sorry.
we'll start where, when we say the word, we'll say what it is in English as well, just so, you know, I know we're all reading it, but just so we sound it out and we hear it.
Okay.
Can you say deitu? Deitu.
Then we
Yeah,
missed
but-
on the train.
No, yeah, she said Tranean. So say de
Day,
tu,
day two,
de duco,
day, day two,
de duco. Yes, very
day
good.
two,
De duco. And de duco means will call. De
day
is call.
two.
De tu
Nine, just
is the
on the
infinitive,
phone
that
covers
means
that.
to call. De duco, that ko, is a future tense suffix. Ko means will, will. Etorri means come. Etorriko means will come, right? And so, right, in English, you know, it's back where we are not an agglutinating language. We do not add things to the end of words like that. In Basque, it does. And again, it's very useful. That one word means will call. You know, it's deduco. And you can, you know, we're going to get into all that, but it's incredibly useful. It's simpler than it seems. Okay, these are some double words. Errico, Errico, taberna. Taberna. Yeah. Errico taberna. Yep. That's what this place is. This is the town bar. And also with that, the ko, and this, yeah, it means the bar of the town, right? But the thing in Basque is, you know, there's a great thing up here that was quote a gentleman interviewed their father, and he was saying how many languages he spoke. And he said, you know, he spoke French and English and Basque and Spanish and knew some Italian. And he said, he goes, well, you know, you're pretty smart. And he goes, no. I might speak 5 languages, but I don't translate. It takes brains to translate, and I don't have any brains. and I never understood, like, when I read that, I was like, okay, look, if you can speak 5 languages, I mean, for sure you can translate. And I barely speak, you know, 1.5, and I will tell you, it is incredibly difficult to translate. But that's the thing is, you're going to start out like that, where you're gonna always have to juxtapose what the new thing in Basque is that you're learning with what it is in English. But you will get to a point where you will you will understand it only in Basque. And that's when you know you're really getting it. And it's really simple things like that, like Eriko Taberna. What you absolutely want to do is you want to dissect everything. You want to read it. You want to find what is going on in there. That code, that means of the town, right? And taberna means bar, right? You want to do that. So directly translated, it means the bar of the town, right? But Basque's feature, Spanish and French don't do this. English does this. English is closer to Basque in this sense than French or Spanish. Like in Spanish they say, tortilla de patatas, which means omelet of potatoes, right? It's stupid. That de is completely unnecessary. We don't say that in English. We say potato omelet, right? Basque, the same way. Basque is patata tortilla, potato omelet, right? There's no de, that's not of, it's not, and that Eriko Taberna, that ko, it does mean the bar of the town, but what they use that ko as is when we say, when you think about it in English, the bar town, or the town bar, there's not a lot of information. We all understand what that means because we all speak English, but when you try to explain that to somebody, and this is also a very useful tool when you read things, think to yourself, how could I explain this to somebody? And that's what I have to do all the time. That's what you have to do. You have to go, what am I really trying to say? How do I explain this to somebody who doesn't know what I'm talking about? And so the town bar is like the town bar, there's no information about what that bar is, what that town is, right? But what you're saying is the bar of the town, right? And so Eriko Taberna means the bar of the town, but correctly translated, it's the town bar. To translate that to English, you wouldn't say, and these are subtle nuances, but they're important, and these are the things, and so we're gonna get into all of that. Eriko Taberna.
Klasea.
Yeah.
Can we go watch the Blue Angels?
Yeah, you wanna go outside and see them?
Just for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going off right now.
You guys all wanna
Can
go
we
outside and see them?
Anybody else want to go?
We don't have, I'll stay in here. We don't have to. Yeah, you wanna stay in here?
I'm going.
He's good.
By the way, sorry to interrupt, but the reason why that's being filmed is there will be a YouTube channel that when you miss class, you can pull it up.
For him.
For him. I gotta watch it over and over, so
Yeah.
that'll be better
No,
for
it's
me
good.
too.
It's good. And this is getting into this whole explanation is about stress, about intonation. Intonation is where you enunciate, and you can read about how to pronounce things all you want. Bisyllabic roots for which initial stress is obligatory include most roots ending in a, such as denda or gela. But just hearing it, all you have to do is hear it, and pronounce it to the best you can. So the next one is denda. Denda is shop, that's store. Denda, and everything in Basque comes from that. Ogi, what is it? Ogi denda, bread shop. Aragi denda, butcher shop. Denda. Denda is it's shop, it's store. Gela is room. Lo gela, lo means to sleep. Lo gela is bedroom. What is it? Ikash gela is a classroom. Ikash gela. So the Basque has five vowel sounds represented by a, e, I, o, and u. They can combine in diphthongs, groups of two vowels. Ai, which is I. Ei, which is a. And oi, which is oi. Ow is pronounced like house, ow. Eu, not a familiar sound in English, is produced by pronouncing E and U in quick succession, right? And that's, sometimes that's all you gotta do is you just gotta like kind of run through a word, just like, hope that, it's like, and, when you think about it, like when you hear people like many of the grandparents, many of the parents, right? When you hear them speak English, you never judge. It doesn't even cross your mind that you're like, Jesus, he's got such a thick accent. Speak better English. That's not what you think, and that's not what they think either. They're trying. Your tongue can only do so much, and it's like, even in English, just incorrectly intonating a word, putting the saying the word, but saying it with different intonations can be very difficult on the English ear with an English speaker. So it's about getting it out, and everybody's processing, everybody's learning. R is strongly trilled, except when a single R stands between vowels inside a word, as in euskaraz. And again, it's closer to like a D, but it's not like a hard D. You're kind of moving through it, euskaraz or euskaraz. And also there's many colloquial dialects where they eat that R very intensely. In Gipuzkoa especially, when they say like, they also change some other things, but so like gu gara is we are, and in Gipuzkoa they don't say sara, gara, sarete, they say sera, gera, sarete, they do say sarete. But so they changed that. It's gugera. It's not gugara, and they speak it on the street, and they won't even pronounce the R. They'll just say gea, gugea, right? Or ushkea. Like they just kind of and so you don't want to practice like that. You want to know how to say it, but just for trying to encourage you, not discourage you. So, who are we? Euskaraz. Oshon. Eskerrik asko. Yeah, eskerrik asko. Oshon. Barkatu. Barkatu. Barkatu means excuse me. And eskerrik asko means thank you. The trilled R is never silent in Basque. Do not say bakatu, right? And you will hear, it's just how it's spoken. People miss it, but they never, it's important. Like they don't really move. They don't ever say it like that. Bakatu, it's barkatu. And Americans will say they can't get that barkatu, and so they'll say barkatu. Barkatu, and that's fine. You sound like an American, but it's totally fine. You're saying that R, and that's arguably more important. Ghetto, Robert, ghetto, and this is that example I gave. Ghetto is pronounced gayo by some speakers, right? Gayo. You just don't say the R. Ghetto, gayo. B, D, G, P, T, and K are pronounced less energetically in Basque than in English. P, T, and K are not aspirated. There's no puff of breath following them. Between vowels B, D, and G are slurred and sometimes even silent in colloquial Basque. Dago is dao, and with time, you will understand phonetically that these things they're very possible. It's not like, you can really beat yourself up like, I know it as dago and I didn't hear that G, but, you're moving with it. Like one of the, Shalvador, who was a famous Bercholari, a famous verse singer, his album is called Ifaraldeko Kantu Sarak. and it's iparraldeco, which is of the north, iparralde, but he spells it on that album with an F. It's ifarraldeco, ifarraldeco cantu sarra. And when I saw that, I was like, you know, how is, and then I realized the P and the F, and it's kind of hard to wrap your head around it at first, but that P and F are a lot similar phonetically than you initially think. Like when you kind of move through a P, like iparraldeco, when it's a closed P, not a P, but it's iparraldeco, it's iparraldeco. A F like that is like a B, like, you know, they're very close phonetically, and so, you know, not to be stressed. H is silent except in the north, where it sounds approximately as it does in English. We went over that last time where, you know, I was over there and they think you're from Iparralde, and I'm like, you know, I'm not, but it's because I say the H's, and you don't hear them in the south. They don't pronounce the H's, but in the north they do, and so pronounce it. I mean, don't try to get, you know, too far out of yourself and say, you know, seeing an H and not pronouncing it. Just pronounce it. And I'm not sure there's any words where H is, because H, they don't use H to make a ch sound. It's TX. TX makes the ch sound. And so I'm not sure there's any H's in the middle of words anyways. H's will usually always be the very first letter, and that's why they get eaten through, because H is always followed by a vowel. And so the start of that, the vowel will always make that initial sound, you know. S and Z, both S sounds. Z is like a S again. S is mushier. X is the sh sound. So we're gonna go.
That's badass. That's so cool.
This is Salvador. Salvador is a name. Shavi. Or Salvador. Salvador. An X by itself will always be followed by a vowel. And it's a sh. It's just like we say sh. Can you guys say Salvador?
Salvador.
Salvador. TX is always a ch sound. Ch. The CH in English. This is chakur. Chakur. Chakur is dog. Chakur.
So, with chakura,
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm going to get into. So chakur. Chakur is dog. Just dog, right? Chakura is the dog or a dog, right? So anytime there's that A, there are organic A's in Basque where a word has to have that A on the end of it. It doesn't exist without it. Like neshka. Neshka is girl. You can't say neshk. It's not a word. Neshka is the word. And neshka means all of those. Girl, the girl, a girl, right? Chakur. Chakur is dog. Chakura is a or the dog. If it ends with an R, if a word, if the organic word ends in an R, to say a or the dog, it's always add another R. It's you never put an A just at the end of that. It's chakura, right? And so an example of that, right, is chakura ikustendut, which is I see a dog or I see the dog. Chakura ikustendut, I see a dog or I see the dog, but Beste chakur bat ikusten duzu. So chakura ikusten dut, I see a dog, I see the dog, right? Beste chakur bat ikusten duzu. This is, do you see another dog? Beste means other, another, right? But this bat, I briefly explained that last time. Chakur bat means a dog. It does not mean the dog. It means a dog, one dog, right? And so you never say chakura bat, right? Because chakura means a or the dog, right? Chakur bat means a dog, right? So chakura bat is bad Basque. That is like saying the dog or the one dog, right? And it's the a dog, right? And this was something. I heard this on the street. I heard this grandfather say this to his granddaughter. I was just walking back from school, and I always remember because it was very beautiful. Like when I really started like getting the language, I would just overhear people in the street, you know. And it's really cool, like when you can understand the full thing somebody says, you know. And he's just walking with his dog or with his granddaughter, and he says, "Beste chakurbati kustenusu," right? Do you see another dog, right? And just how intonated it was. He said it just pronounced everything so wonderfully. You know, and that was one thing that, like, when I first started studying, I remember thinking, like, you know, oh, I want to, you know, I don't want to speak it like how, you know, this stuff out of a book, you know, how you, I want to speak it like how they speak it on the street. And my whole thinking of that has changed because it's very beautiful, and pronouncing every single thing possibly, you know, is my goal. It's like to say it as beautiful as you can. And like an example of that is dates, how they say dates. They don't say 1998 or 1947, right? How we say in English. They say Mia Bereratseun which is 1947, right? They say that they don't say 1947. It's 1947. So in the year 1947, it's Mia Bereratseun Berrogeta Bigarren urtean, right? In the 1947th year, right? And when I was like first there, I'm like, this is ridiculous. why on earth do we have to go through all that, right? And then I realized, and it's kind of a joke, you know, but I said it to a friend of mine who's, you know, very Basque, who lives in the town that I was going to school at. And I was like, you know, I'm pretty sure they just love hearing their language so much that they make it how you can say something the longest. It's not about saying it quickly or short. It's about how do you make it as long as you can possibly make it. And I said that to him because I was like starting to get it, and he looked at me like I hit the jackpot. He was like, that is exactly why. I mean, that is 100% why. It's too beautiful of a language to just abbreviate things, you know, to say 1947. No, it's Mia Bereratseun Berrogeta Bigarren urtean. You know, it's like, you know, so you know, it's cool. Like those are the things that should inspire you, you know, making it as beautiful as you can. So that TX, Chakur, single X, Shalmanur. So, you know, was that pretty good? How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah.
Getting some good pronunciation? Yeah.
So what is beste?
Beste is another,
Another.
yeah, or other, yeah, yeah. Beste bat, that's how you order another one, exactly. Again, I was
That's all
explaining
I
this to
know.
Katie, she asked me, she said, how do you say, I need a drink? I need a drink. And I go, Katie, you will not hear that. They do not say that. That's, when you really think about it, that's like what we do as Americans. It's this like stupid small talk, Why do you have to tell me that you need another drink, okay? That implies you're already drinking something, right? Because you're asking for another, I need a drink, right? You would just order another one, beste bat, right? Or if it's your first order, and this is what I told her, they never come up, they never do that initial stuff. Like you don't walk up to a bar and go, I do because I'm a gidi and I like talking, right? And I don't care that they don't do it over there. I always ask people how they're doing. But you never go up and say, hey, how's it going today? Good, what's going on? What can I do for you? Oh, let me get what do you have? They don't do that. You walk up to the bar, you might not even say hello. You might say alpa, you might say kaisho, probably not. You walk up and you say, kanya lat at bi shagarlo. One kanya, one beer, and 2 ciders. Right? And that's it. And maybe you say thank you. They might not even say anything to you. They might not even go, they sure as hell don't go, gotcha, I'll be right up with that, No, they start pouring the drinks, And so again, it's like I really want you guys to start asking yourselves, what do I want to say? And this is what you have to ask yourself that question when you're learning a language, when you're learning Basque is, okay, what am I really trying to say, And you cut off all that fat, You go, okay, I want to ask this guy about his shoes, Why? Why? Why is it that important? And sure, when you get further on, yeah, and you're really practicing your tongue, absolutely. You're going to try to be talking about everything, but it's like, don't trip yourself up going like, oh, I want to ask these questions, but it's like, no, figure out how to navigate a minor dialogue, a very minor dialogue. It'll all come from there, And that's the beautiful thing about the Basque is they're not looking to small talk with. They're not looking to, we're here to say something. If you have something to say, say it. And if you don't say anything. You just listen, They actually have these. They're so motivated to teach the language and to preserve the language over there. Their Euskara program, like the national program, they have these buttons that they give out, and you put them on your shirt, and it says there's like 3 or 4 different ones, and like the one is, yes, I speak Basque. The other one is I don't speak Basque, but I want to hear it. So speak to me in Basque, right? The other one is I'm learning Basque, right? So speak it to me, but give me a little, And then the other one is like, I understand it. I do understand it, but I don't speak it. So you can speak it to me, but and it's like it's very interesting because those really are the levels that everybody's at, And it's a visual way when you see people. And I'm not saying nobody wears them, but it's like they do these manifestations, they do these things where, and you get with it, and it's like, it's encouraging. It's very encouraging. So we'll do this exercise, the grammatical nuts and bolts. And this is again, it seems overwhelming at first. Why is there 4 different ways to say the thing that we'll only say one way in English, right? This is the San Sebastian bus, right? But again, if you look at all of them, it's 4 words. It's the 4 same words throughout the 4 of them, just in different order, right? And that's a good thing, because that means the meaning is the same, but you can hear it 4 different ways, right? And as long as you get all of the words, as long as you hear all the words, you're gonna get it, right? And so it's, you know, it's a good thing, it is. So we're gonna go, I'll say it, you say it, we'll do it again like that, okay? How Donostiako autobusala?
How Donostiako autobusa da?
Donostiako autobusala how?
Donostiako Arabusa the how?
Yep. How da Donostiako autobusa?
Hau da Donostiako autobusa.
Donostiako autobusa how da?
Don Ostiako autobusa da.
Good
Oh,
one.
no.
Right on.
Oh, no.
I said, did it okay?
Did it
Oh
okay.
my God.
Did it okay.
Wow.
Okay, we're gonna go to the next one. This is a question, right? And notice how these are the same 4 sentences as before, stating that this is the San Sebastian bus, but this is with a question mark. So this comes down to how you say it, right? How Donostiako autobusala?
Hau Donostiako autobusa.
Yeah. So when it comes to a question, it's like, you know, it's the same thing in English. You know, you're expressive, that you're curious, right? And that'll come through in your voice. So how Donostiako autobusala is, yes, this is the San Sebastian bus, but how Donostiako autobusala? But it's inquisitive how you say it, right? Donostiako autobusala how?
Donostiako autobusa da how?
How da Donostiako autobusa? Donostiako autobusa how da? How Donostiako autobusala?
Where did you go?
Back to the top.
Okay.
It's all good. Yeah.
How Donostiako, oh wait, hold on. How Donostiako autobusa da? The da?
Yeah, da. Yep. Donostiako autobusala how?
Donostiako autobusa da
A shoulder. Yeah. And so again, like in these things, okay, this is like what I really got to reiterate to myself. This is how you're gonna get it. Do not try to remember all 4 of these. Pick one, the easiest one, and the easiest one is how da Donostiako autobusa.
That's how we say it.
Yeah, this is the bus of San Sebastian, right? And what you will find is in certain sentences and certain structures, coming off of words into other words is more difficult than had the words been rearranged. And for me, Donostiako autobusa how da is the weirdest one. It's very weird. Donostiako autobusa how da, right? How da Donostiako autobusa flows much easier. I don't, it's, when you come off of that autobusa and then into how and then da, it's just it just seems like lumpy, you know? But how da is very flows. And coming off of that how da, another D is very easy to go into. So how da Donostiako autobusa, right? And so that's what I encourage is, you know, you learn how to say one thing, learn how to say it very well, as absolutely best as you can, and forget about the rest. Absolutely forget about them, and you will come to, with so much practice with one, the other ones, when you come back around to them, you know, they'll be less intimidating. You'll be going, and I mean, I tell myself all the time, I'm like, ooh, yeah, like this is. Like I'd be in class, you know, and I'd be like, they'd teach us something, and I'd go, yeah, like we went over this yesterday. This doesn't make any sense to me. I absolutely do not get it. Like I don't, you know, and but I was never like, just leave it. I would just try to get one of them, one of the verb forms, and try to, just try to get it down. And the main thing is even if you don't necessarily understand it, like if you're still confused at maybe like what the meaning is, because that is going to happen. That'll be a lot of the journey is. You're going to learn how to say something. You guys are going to ask me how to say something, and I'm going to tell you how to say it. It'll be a question or a statement or whatever, because you want to know how to say it, and you'll know that that's what that means, right? But you will not understand. You won't know all the words in it. You won't know it like this. Especially badakigu, right? I can tell you that's how you say, "Do you see another dog?" Right? And you're going to go, okay, well, I'm going to write this down. I'm going to study this. I know this means, do you see another dog, right? And then you're going to learn what, days down the road, weeks down the road, you're going to learn what ikushi means. And ikushi means to see. Ikushi means see, right? And then you're going to learn what the suffix ten or sen means. And that's a habitual tense. That means seeing. That means seeing, right? And you're going to learn that beshte means other. And you're going to learn that dusu means do you, right? And one day you will go, this sentence that I knew how to say, I knew what it meant in English and I could reproduce it, I fully understand it now. And I was able to say it, and those are the building blocks. That's when it, that happened with me with this bumper sticker up here. It says, Isan si delako gara, isan garelako isango lida. When I was first studying Basque, I was looking at that. It says underneath it what it is in English. Because of them, we are. Because of us, they will be. Right? It's very philosophical. It's very beautiful. And I was looking at it, and I'm going, I didn't know how to say because. I didn't know what the past tense of them was. I didn't know. I knew what isango was, will be. I knew gara, we are, right? And I'm looking and I'm like, how does that say that, right? And I remember asking Louise, and she's like, honestly, Etienne, I don't know how it says that. I don't, and I'm like, okay, right? And then I wasn't even at this point yet. I was just going through my book, and I saw the past tenses for the past tenses of the verbs, of isan, of I am, you are, we are, they are. And the past tense of them is siden, right? And to say because in Basque, one of the ways is you add delako to the end. And in English, we don't say it like that. Because of them, we are. Because of us, they will be, right? In that, it's isan si delako gara. So that isan means to be, right? And so I remember going through it, and I found the words, I found what I was looking for, and I came back and I read it, and I go, I know how it says that. And I could reproduce it. I knew how to say isan si delako gara, isan gara lako isan godira, but I didn't really understand it, right? And then one day I was like, I can read that, and I understand why it says, because of them, who they were, we are. Because of us, they will be, right? And so, it's gonna be uncomfortable. This isn't. You're learning a new language. It's not gonna be I just pick up words and I can reproduce them. I know what they mean. It's gonna be uncomfortable, right? But you gotta mitigate that uncomfort. You can't allow that uncomfortability to deter you. You can't let it discourage you from getting it out there. And again, just the day before you couldn't say hello or how are you, and then the next day you can, and then they respond to you and you go, fuck, I don't know what they said, but then in 2 weeks they give you that same response and you go, and you understand what they said, and you know how to respond back to them, right? All it's about the little wins. It's all the little wins. Okay, this is a brief thing. In English, a difference in word order between this is and is this makes the difference between a statement and a question. In Basque, a question can be formed from a statement just by placing a question mark at the end or using a different intonation. And that's what I just explained. It's just the inquisitiveness, you know. And, you know, we're not animated when we talk in English like most other languages are, you know, like Spanish, French, you know, Basque. And, you know, it's good to get animated, you know, animation, and, you know, the original language it's all expressive, you know, before there was syntax, before we made small mouth noises and it meant something, there was purely expression, right? And, you know, you're making things and very positive, and looking inquisitive will do wonders for you, you know, looking disgusted will do wonders for you, you know, and like I've explained this, it's really cool when you get into it. Like in English, I talk like I do in English, where I'm like, you know, this is how it is. It's like, you know, in English we say like, somebody comes in and you go, you know, God, it's hot outside. And you know, fuck, it's so hot, right? There's very, very little expression, right? In Basque, and it's like, I only learned it because I watched everybody do it, and it's like, oh, this is fun, you know, like, and it's like, you know, and it's like, it makes it funny, you know, it makes it like very, you know, enjoyable, and it's like, hostia, Christon de Roy, you know, like, it's so damn hot outside, and it's like, you know, I like that, you know, it's like, you might not even know like the full sentence, but you know that, you know, and then this is the other thing, is it's like, I would have conversations with people, like when my mom came over there and met me, we were at one of my friend's house, and I was talking to his parents. They live on this bacheria, they don't speak any English. And we're there talking like the whole time, and my mom and her friend are just like listening, you know, they don't speak any. And we're just like talking, and she's like, my mom and her friend are like, Ed, we don't know what you guys are talking about, but like, she really seems to be enjoying, you know, talking to me. And I'm like, yeah, honestly, we're just talking about how fucking hot it is. That's all. I mean, literally, like, how many different ways can you say it? And we're getting through all of them, you know. And it's like, again, you know, that's what it is. That's the conversation. It's like, you know, you just, you know, like when I learned how to say melt, to melt. They don't say this over there. You know, they don't say like to melt. You know, not in an expressive sense of like, oh, I'm melting. You know. And as soon as I learned how to say it, that's what I would start saying when people would start talking about the heat. You know, I'd be like, you know, how you guys doing? You know, someone's, oh no, Cristo Beroa, you know, it's really hot. And I go, yeah, ba benetan, urtsenarinas. I go, yeah, really, I'm melting. And they're like, yeah, urtsen, you know, like, and it's incredible because I could see it, like, they don't hear that. Like, I never heard anybody else said it. I was inquisitive. I wanted to know how to say it because that's how I wanted to express myself, right? And it was like, you know, they're like, but I said it correctly. It's not incorrect. It's just, it's not a cultural thing. They don't express it like that, like we do in English, you know? And those are like the things where it's like, that's your personality, you know, coming out into it. And that's when it's like, you know, you really feel like you're hitting it, you know? Okay, exercise 2, we'll go over this as well. Okay, this is examples of alternative word orders, right? So, badakigu euskaraz. Can you guys say that?
Badakigu euskaraz.
Badakigu euskaraz. Or euskaraz badakigu.
Badakigu.
Same exact question. Do you speak Basque? And it really means, do you know Basque? But that's how they say. That's how they say, do you speak Basque? And I have a bad habit. I directly translate things. I'm not like thinking about it in English, but I know how to say it in all of the different ways. And they never. I mean, they will, like they do say that, but when I recently, like, I only ask people if they speak Basque. I quit saying badakigu euskaraz and I say itz egiten duzu euskaraz, which is literally means do you speak Basque, you know? And you know, that's like, it's all good. It's like, you know, euskaraz itz egiten duzu, you Questions asking for a yes, by, or no, s can be identical to corresponding statements except for intonation or punctuation. However, some speakers do signal such questions by placing the particle al in front of the verb, da or dago, as in, how al da donostiako autobusha. That al, it's a good thing, it's impressive that this thing, this is the first chapter of this colloquial. This is the difference. This is a colloquial Basque book. This is to get you speaking, like, immediately. The Basque language book that I have dives way more into the grammar, and it's about really learning the language. And they don't get into al. They didn't teach us al, this particle, until I was in B1, which is like halfway through. You know, like, I mean, I knew how to say, I knew how to say hypotheticals, like, if I knew Spanish, I wouldn't speak Basque, right? Serious shit. Hypotheticals are like Castellanos hakingo banu, es nuke euskaraz itzegingo, right? And I knew how to say that before I knew how to say, al, right? And so it's impressive that this is in the beginning. It's a very simple concept. We don't have it in English. All it is al is used in a question where there can only be a yes or a no answer. So if you're asking anything beyond that, if you're asking me if I have something, do you have something? You'll use that al, right? Otherwise, if you're asking an actual question that responds an answer, it's incorrect to use. It's also not incorrect to not use it with a yes or a no question. So I would recommend not getting. You don't have to worry about that al. It'll come later. It's not vital by any means. It's good to recognize it. Like, and this is what will happen. Like, you'll learn. Okay, I know this says this is the San Sebastian bus. Alda de Nostiako autobusha. And then you read this one and you go, how alda de Nostiako autobusha, and you're like, is this asking a completely different question? It's got this other word in it. Like, why is that other word in it? And it's good to recognize that. No, I know what that means. It's just making it. Is this a yes or a no question? That's it, right? Omission of the subject. These sentences. We'll all say these together as well. Nun dago autobusha.
Nun dago autobusha.
Autobusha nun dago.
Autobusha nun dago.
Nun dago.
Nun dago.
In English, when we don't mention the subject of the bus, as in the third sentence, we must insert a pronoun instead, it. In Basque, we simply omit the subject in such cases without any pronoun. It is understood from the context. Again, the practicality of Basque. There's not all this nonsense in it. We always have to have that it, right? And in Basque, you're talking about something, and so it's not required. And they don't use it. Not only is it not required, it's not a part of the language. And so if somebody's talking about, if you're going to look for a bus with a friend and you get to the bus station, you don't have to go, nun nago autobusha. You're at the bus station. You guys went there to look for a bus. Right? You just get there and you go, nun nago, where is it? Where's the, and they're not like, it's like saying in English, where is, right? It's missing that thing, right? But because in English, everybody, where is what, Oh, the bus that we're looking for, So, yeah, that's very valuable. Nun nago. And these are the things that I'm going to try to get, that we're going to go over a lot. This is the basis that you have to have. So that how, right? How do Nostiako autobusha? How is this, right? I'm going to write these up here for you. Because I knew I had such a phenomenal understanding of these very, very simple words for a long time before my Basque ever progressed. This is so fundamental. How, hori, huda. This, that, and that over there. Referring to distance. Hemen, hor, han. Here, there, over there. This was like, these were the only 6 words I knew how to say for many months. And it was like, you know, this can get you, this can really get you into a conversation, right? Of just being able to say, you know, how, right?
Yes.
Elo, hor, you know, this or that, right? Or hemen, or hor, or han, right? And you want to be able, you absolutely want to be able to memorize these and be able to reproduce them, know the difference between all of them, you know, and it's, you know, quickly, you know, you want to know, and this is the thing, it's like, okay, if you can remember, you know without even thinking about it what here means in English. You know, here does not mean there, right? You can remember 2 more, I promise you. Here, hemen. There, hor. Just like that. Anytime you think of here in English, try to go, you know, make yourself think of it in Basque. Make yourself go, here, hemen. Hor, there. Han, over there. Right? How, this. Hor, that. Hura, that over there. How do you translate these 2 sentences? Can anybody tell me? Halda autobusha. This is the bus. Everybody get that?
Yeah.
Halda.
This is.
This is. Also, this is it.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
What that really is, that da is, it means is and it is, right? So this is the thing. I want you guys to try to learn it like that, where don't think that Basque is omitting anything. You got to look at it with the assumption that all of the information is there. You know, you cannot look at it going like, oh, in English we say this is it, and in Basque they don't. It's always just this is. It's not true. All the information is there. It's just different, right? So how does this is when somebody asks you, you know, is this a donkey? Es, banya hauda, no, but this is, right? Or, you know, is this your car for sale? Buy, hauda, yes, this is it. This is the car, right? It's not just, yes, this is, no, this is it. It's both, right? And that's when learning, you know, the context, the other words that are in a sentence, where it guides you for all that. I mean, it's, you know, nothing is omitted. All of the meaning is there. You know, you gotta, you know, you'll see it, right? So everybody's gonna translate these. So it's the bus, right? So also, it means is, it is, and also the conjugated in English, it's. There's no such, you know, it's all 3 of those things. Da is, it is, and it's, right? Can you translate it's the bus? Can you say it's the bus?
Autobusha hauda.
No, that is
S?
this is the bus. So just it's the bus.
Oh, autobusha da.
Autobusha da.
Right.
What is it?
Ser. Serda.
Serda. Serda. Oshomo. Serda. What is it? Ashtovat ala autobushavat. A donkey or a bus? It's very funny.
Letting people know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys copy these?
Yes.
Everybody done? Put these in proper order in English, how you say who, what, when, where, and why. Because that's how you, I apologize for writing them backwards. But this is nor, who, ser, what, nois, when, noon, where, sergatik, why. Again, these are the fundamentals. This is, you know, and this really is, like, when you think about, you know, in English, like when you're a kid, you learn this shit, you know, when you're, who, what, when, where, and why, you know? So, you're gonna say,
Nunda?
yeah, so, right, nunda. So, nunda, totally good, right? In Iparralde, they do use a gon, they don't always use a gon. In Iparralde, that's exactly how it would be said, nunda. Where is it? In Egoalde, there's a difference between isan and a gon. This is all more advanced stuff, but I'm telling you the context. I'm telling you why it is what it is. Da is, it is, to be, right? To be, always, right? Da is, you know, taberna da. It is a bar, right? But in Basque, this is the difference between isan and a gon. A gon is to be, but to be as a state of being. Okay, there's a differentiation, and so it is a bar. Tabernala, it's a bar. It is a bar. Banya lampetuta dago, but it is busy. Right? The state of its being is busy. It's not busy. It's not, you know. No, it's a bar, but its state of being is busy. Right? This, the da, that's that isan. That is ni nice. That is I am Etíen. Right? Etíen nice. Banya gaishorik nago, but I am sick. My state of being is sick. Nago. Nago is nice. Da is dago, is the state of being. And so, state of being is where something is. So how do you say where is it?
So it'd be nundago?
Nundago. Oshondo. Nundago. And yeah, nundago. It's you know, and you'll learn at first. It's like, okay, well, I mean, what's the big deal? Like, but that has information in it. There's real information in that nundago, right? You know, you could say like nunda is like where is it? You know, I guess it's better to say like, you know, like cerda, like what is it? What is it, right? But cerdago, like what is there? You know, like okay, what is it? Cerda, it's a cave, right? But manya cerdago, bats. You know, what is in it? What is there? What's in that cave, right? So it's a little, you know, linguistically we just don't have that differentiation in English of, you know, of to be in a always in a habitual tense and then in a temporary sense, right? It's over there. Malush.
Oh. Handago.
Handago.
What was it?
Handago. Ooh, you ready, Grandma?
Grandma's confused about everything.
It's okay. It's okay.
What does he want?
Yep, do you know? Can anybody tell me, how do you say, do you know?
Badakigu.
Oshono. Badakigu. Badakigu. Can you say that, Grandma?
What do you want me to say?
Badakigu.
Badakigu.
Oshono. Badakigu.
That means what?
Do you know?
Do you know?
Do you know, right?
Yes.
So again, that's the verb in Basque, for to know, right? That's one word, badakigu. In English, it's three. Do you know, right? All of that information. It's not. There's nothing omitted in that word, in that verb. Everything is there. It's just one word, right? Badakisu, su is you. Badaki is a question, also a confirmation. That ba can be a question. Ba can also be confirming, right? So when you say badakisu euskaraz, I say by nik badakit, means yes, I know, right? The ba is not. It's both. It's a question and confirming. All this information is there. It's very valuable. I'm just I might be repeating a lot of things, but can you say yes? Bye. Oshono. You didn't even have to look at the paper. Ooh, you ready, Renee?
I'll try.
Is it the San Sebastian bus? Oshono. Oshono. Right? And so you see how in it it's got the numbers, the 2, the 1, the 3, 1 and 2. That's showing you where that is it goes the third word, bus is the second word, and the San Sebastian is the first word, right? That's that's very valuable. Can you say no? Yes. Bye. Can you say oh? Ah, Oshono. Is there one you would like to say, Becky? One in particular? Can you?
Yes.
Yes. Oshono. Can you say it's over there? That's Han.
Or hunt. Oh.
Yep.
You know what? All right.
It's okay.
Is it taco or taco?
Dago.
It is taco.
Yeah.
Taco.
There you go. Can you say it?
Taco.
Han dago. Oshono. Can you say? Is this the San Sebastian bus? Look on page 10.
That's right, we
Yeah,
can be both.
yeah. Yep, Oshono. Right? So there, the difference between is it the San Sebastian bus or is this the San Sebastian bus is that how. How is this? Without it, it's just it is the San Sebastian bus or is it the San Sebastian bus? Okay, this is a wonderful dialogue we're going to do.
Yeah.
I don't know when we do this. Aiden, how about you ask Katie? Start UBA. Do you guys know where we're at? Bottom. UBA and UBB. Okay.
Auta Bilboca Autobusa.
S.
Yeah, Bilboko. Bayonaco. Oshono. Noel. Autobusha. C. Autobusha Mendago. Dustin. D.
S, Horta.
Hordago. So I'm sure you guys recognize that. Hordago from Moosh, right? Moosh, the meaning of it in Moosh is all in, right? It means the whole game. It means the whole game. But Hordago means it's there. It's all there. And all is not even in there, but it just means it's there, right? There it is, right? And so, these are the things. It's like if you've always heard that, you know how to play moosh with that, hordago. If you think hordago means all in, right? It's not. You're going to use that completely incorrectly on the street. You're going to, in what situation outside of a car game do you ever say that, right? And you would think like, oh, that's the only place you say it, but no. When somebody asks you where the bus is, you go, hordago, And so, we have all these same things in English. What something is used as and what the actual meaning is, right? That was wonderful. Excellent. Okay, we're getting into what I put up there earlier, the how hori huda, and then hor hun.
Can I have that flex water? Just around me.
Yeah. Snow, you're welcome. Oh, excuse me. So, right, learn the words that mean this and that, and here and there. There are two different words for that and there, referring to things and places quite a long way away. Middle distance or near the person you're speaking to. This is a great breakdown of that. The near speaker, further away, and distant. And again, it's the same thing in English, right? We have here, we have there, and we have over there, right? And they mean different things. They're a little more ambiguous in English. Like we'll say, even if something's very far away, we'll say like, oh no, there's a great restaurant in Boise, right? We don't say necessarily over there, right? Even though you're talking about a place very far away, right? When somebody asks you, where were you today? Oh, they're in Tahoe, or you might say over there in Tahoe, or whatever. In Basque, it's important. If you're talking about something that's in the room with you, you're not going to say, huda, right, or hun, right? Unless, and this is the distance thing. If you're talking about three things, if I put out three, cups away from me, and I said, we're all here in this room, and it's not that far away, but there's relativity to it, right? How, basholat, this is a cup. Hori, bashola, that cup. Etahuda, bashola, bashouda, that cup over there, right? There's relativity to it, right? We know all three things we're talking about, but and that's the thing, that's full of information, right? It's not ambiguous. It means you're talking about something, this, that, or that over there, right? Again, amen, hor, han. Right, in general, use how or hori for things in the same room or areas you, and huda for things outside the room or area where you are. Name several objects around you using the pattern how hori huda x da. Hori autobushada, right? So these are all the words. I'm gonna quiz you guys next class on this vocab list right here.
Right here?
Yeah, it's easy. It's real easy. You're gonna do great, I promise you.
Come on.
Okay, Maya,
Maya,
the table. Alkia,
Alkia,
the chair. Atea,
Atea,
the door. Leoa,
Leoa,
the window. Liburua,
Liburua,
the book. Boligrafoa,
Boligrafoa,
the ball pen. Autobusha,
Autobusha,
the bus. Kalea,
Kalea.
the street. 3 of those you can identify, and then you can. Liburua, right? It's like library. I don't know, that's Latin, you know. Boligrafoa, pen, you know, it's Spanish, it's again Latin, right? And autobusha, right? Those are 3 borrowed words, right? So 3 of the 8 words that I'm gonna quiz you on, you don't even have to study for. Right? This is the thing, it's, you know, it's, the table, Maya. Right, and so earlier, I can never think when I'm on the spot like that, but in terms of H's being in the middle, right? And when H's are in the middle, they are not aspirated at all. They're always, that's when a y sound is made. It'll always be between vowels. And whatever those vowels is between, that will be but it's a y, it's always a y, right? And so Maya, and it's kind of weird in Basque how things are spelled. It's pronounced Maya, right? But it's not Mahaya, right? Because you take that H and that AIA, it's just kind of one, or the AI, the HAI, it's all one sound. It's Maya, right? Leoa, right? That H in the middle is, again, it's just a yud, so you say le-yoa, right? Le-yoa. So yeah, we'll do this exercise. So what we're gonna say is we're gonna say how, you got it, Grandma?
Okay.
We're all gonna go around and we're gonna identify. I want you to point to it or touch it, whatever it may be. Start on this side, Aiden. So say either how, hori, or hura. How, just start with how because you're on the table, right? Just like you would how autobusha, but with maya.
How Maya?
Da.
Da.
Yep.
So at the end there.
Yep.
How Maya da?
How maya da. Oshona. Becky. Alkia. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that table, but,
Oh yeah, you do table or chair, whatever you want to do. Absolutely.
is it Hori Maya?
Yep. Hori maya da. Right.
That's right.
Yeah. And so this is an interesting point, right? This is, you know, we're all just getting into this, right? And you think like, you just don't even think about it, but you're gonna have to start asking yourself like, okay, we make all of the same distinctions in English, right? That table, right, is different from that is a table, right? That table and that is a table are different, right? Right? You know, that dog, that chair is different from that is a dog and that is a chair, right? It's the same thing. This is a great example. Incredibly useful. You know, it's a wonderful reference, right? A glass of water or a water glass, right? Two very different things. Very different, right? This, right? A glass of water and a water glass. Notice how in English they switch. A glass of water, right? Glass, water, and then it's water, glass, right? And it doesn't take you any time at all to comprehend the difference between those two things, right? In Basque, it's the same thing. Basho bat ur, a glass of water, or ur bashoa, water glass, right? Same thing. How you just said the da is the da necessary, right? Hori mayada, right, is that is a table. Maya hori is that table, right? Specifying something. Maya hori. And in Basque, the cardinal, that directional, always comes after, right? The subject is first, the table is first, and then this, that, or there, or this, that, or that over there is always after. So it's not hori maya. It's not that chair directly as it is in English. It's maya hori. It's table that, right? Again, I'm just giving you the examples. So yeah, so hori mayara oshomureki. Angie, can you do it with alkia? Oshomo. Can you do it with atea? Ateada. And it would really be hori ateada. Can you do it with leoa? Leoa. Yep, hori leoa. Katie, liburua. Liburua.
Oh. Yeah, that's not incorrect. That's saying this book, but how do you say this is a book? The equation is in the upper part of in the explanation. So how it actually right above the words, it gives you how horigura x da. Yep. How liburua da. That word is hard.
Yeah, I know it.
How do you say it?
Liburua. Liburua. How liburua da.
I thought that was one of the easy ones. It's one of the hardest.
Yeah,
ones.
look. Easy in terms of being able to identify.
A little harder to pronounce.
Yeah, pronunciation's a different deal. Can you say it, Grandma? Boligrafoa? Oh, it's a doozy.
What do you want me to do?
You want to do it with Kalea?
Oh, okay, what do you want me to do?
Say Hori
Hori,
Kalea
Kalea,
da.
Hot,
Da.
Da. What does that mean?
Is. It is.
What did I say?
You said that is the street.
Oh,
Hori Kalea da.
Hori, Kalea, Da.
Oshondo. Hori Kalea da.
What did I say in English?
That is the street.
Oh, that was
Right?
supposed to be-
Right? And so with that,
Hori.
you guys, like, this is, you are actually saying something. Truly. I mean, this isn't just a word, you're not just saying, you're not being able to know what the word for something means. You are actually identifying something in your environment. And this is monumental. I repeated this 1,000,000 times. This is the only thing I knew how to say was Hori mendiada, that is a mountain. How hanariada, this is food. You know, Hori kaleada, that is a street, right? I mean, you are actually conveying information. Like, you know, this is a major step, I promise you. Like, this is being able, and this is why I'm going to quiz you on these words, because to know what table is, to know what chair is, to know what door is, to know what window is, and then also to know what how hori hura is, this, that, and there, you can compose a sentence, a sentence that conveys information, real information, right? I mean, this is like, how I said last time, we took one step up that mountain. I mean, this is like, you know, this is like 100 steps. Being able to form a real sentence that has real information in it is huge. It's huge. Malush, boligrafoa.
Hori boligrafoa.
Oshomo. Dustin, autobusha.
Hori autobusa da.
Oshomo. Robert, kalea.
Hori Kaleada.
Oshomo. Jean-Baptiste,
Right.
Maya.
Hori Maya da.
Or, what about if you're touching it?
Maya da.
How
Or how. How Maya da.
This is a table.
Right.
Oshono. Oshono. Again, you may also use words that you can find in the general vocabulary at the end of the book. However, you must add a to common nouns unless a word already ends in a. Thus, since the vocabulary gives mendi, mountain, you must say hura mendiada. That is a or the mountain, right? Right. Hura mendiada. That is a mountain, right? I would like you guys to do, you know, over this next week, write these sentences. Do exercise 6 and exercise 7 and 8. 8 gets into what are we gonna do? Right. Do exercise 8 too. It's a made up dialogue. You just go, you know, it's this practicing of these questions. You know? How do I ask if this is the bus? And then when somebody responds to me that it's not this one, no, it's that one, right? Es horida, right? Is it here? Hemendago, es hordago, right? Yes, and these are like, you know, really. I mean, this is when it really. This is when the practice is really important. We can do this, you know, once a week, every week. But if you go home and you do these sentences, you write them in a book, and you know, you're making that muscle mind connection of, you know, of this information, right? It's a different language. I mean, just like that, you're writing in a different language. You're able to make a, you know, and you think about it like it's kind of silly, like, you know, okay, is a conversation ever really that basic? Absolutely. It's just like in English. I mean, you know, when you're just looking for a piece of information, and that's the thing, it's like the dialogue will be as complex as the subject of which you are talking about. And it's never any more, and it's never any less, you know, like you're not conveying ideas when you're asking somebody where the bus is. You know, it's gonna be one of two things, yes or no, right? That's gonna be their answer. And then the follow-up, if it's no, you know, it's like those exercises from school, like, if not, explain why, right? That's exactly how it is on the street. And so it's like, you know, this dialogue that we read, and use this. I mean, use this if you just copy these. I mean, and then think of any other towns that you know in the Basque Country, right? And you know, keep going it on. You know, just continue the conversation. How da bilboko autobusha? Es. Bilboko autobusha horiga. How bayonako autobusha da? Eta hori, you know, urrepelko autobusha da. Hori, you know, donostiako autobusha da, right? And then add in how you know how to say thank you. You you know, eskerrikashko, right? So do those, and so what I will quiz you guys on is gonna be these 8 words from exercise 5. Maya, Aukia, Atea, Leoa, Ligurua, Boligrafoa, Autobusha, Kalea. And then the 3 pronouns and the 3 adverbs. How, Horihuda, Hemen, Hor, Han. And I think it will be productive. Yeah. Questions. Please ask some questions.
Can you run through on exercise 5, just repeat the words, because I'm struggling with the pronunciation.
Yep, I'll write it phonetically up there for you. You guys have these written down, Sargatik, Noise, Nor, Nu, Ser?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not gonna quiz you on these, the who, what, when, where, and why, but just so you have it, very good to have.
That's the shit I need.
Is that explanatory?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
really helps a
Yeah.
lot, because
Right, and again, right, these are all Basque words, they all have Basque spellings, right? It's a completely different language. We all make the same sounds. We absolutely do in English, you know. Language can only be so, you know, different. It's spelled different, things are pronounced differently in different orders, but we know how to make these sounds. Aukia, right? And that is a straight up phonetic spelling, right? But there are some things that you do have to play with a little bit. It's not Aukia, right? You want to kind of move through that L. You want to pronounce it, but you're moving through it. It's Aukia. Aukia, right? Atea, right? It's not Atea. It's not a T. It's T. Atea. Leoa, Leoa, Leoa. Liburua. You like that one, Katie?
That's actually very helpful.
And it's very helpful, isn't it?
Yes.
Liburua.
Yeah, very
Liburua,
helpful.
right. Boligrafoa, and this is not bow, it's bow, right? Boligrafoa. Kalea, right? And phonetics is everything. Just the what it sounds like. And there's a word that I can say it only from practice, and I still have to. And this is my trick. So the word it's a hard word in English. It's nominalization, right? Nominalization, right? We all know that word, whatever it means. Don't worry, I'm with you there. It's not, but nominalization, eventually you'll get into that. Nominalizations, again, I don't know what it means, the definition, but it's these specific endings in words. It's when you use sea, seak, seari, seko, sen, right? And it's a borrowed word in Basque, right? It's nominalización, right? It's almost exactly how it is in English. It's nominalization, right? In Basque, the shin, that T-I-O-N, is sioa. It's very similar. Shin, T-I-O-N, and Z-I-O-A, very similar, right? And I would just just choke on that word when I would try to say it. I'm like, nominalization, you know? And how I say it in Basque, because it's the same beginning. It's nominalization, nominalización, right? And I say the first whole bit of it in English. Like, when I'm like, yeah, nominalization, nominalización, right? And again, it's like, I read it in Basque. I mean, there's like so many I's and Z's, and I'm like, oh my God. But, it's just, there's a way to work through it, and it's like, you just gotta tackle it. So I hope this was a productive class. Questions? Please ask some questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
I would like to know if this is correct. I have a couple of things that I wrote that I want to know if it's correct. Okay. Etíen, polygrapha, handago.
You trying to say Etienne's pen is there?
And what I was trying to say, Etíen is at the ball pen over there.
Yeah. No. What do you mean, at the ball pen?
Yeah, isn't that a ball pen?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, but what do you mean? That's a pen.
Like a pen, like a
Oh,
ballpoint pen.
I was thinking it was a baseball
Baseball
pen.
field. That's what
no.
I got what you were saying.
No.
I got what you were saying.
Okay, well, let's say I meant the baseball pen. Let's say, yeah, ball pen. What?
got it.
So you're correct. So we'll do that. That's a pen. Yeah, it's bolígrafo. It's a what's it in Spanish? Bolígrafo. Yeah. So let's.
I was wondering why they didn't call it the pelota court.
Right. So this guy, unbelievable. So use taberna.
Okay, Etíen, taberna. How dago?
Yes, except
Right?
we'll get into this later.
I should have
right?
said how.
Right? How do you say it in English? You say Etíen is in the bar. Or Etíen is at the bar, or Etíen is on the bar. Right? In, at, on. Right? In Basque, they make no distinction between those three. They streamlined it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. You just add an N, or an AN, or an EN. It all depends on the word. To the end of the word that he is in. So Etíen, tabernan dago. Tabernan dago. Kalean dago. It is on the street. It's at the street. It's in the street, right? And again, you think, okay, how do they not distinguish? In, on, or at are very different things. There are further words to describe something that is on, below, behind, in front of, right? But that's the straight up one. It's all contextual. Etíen tabernan dago, kalean dago, echean dago, at home. Echean, at home, right? So yes. Oshono. Questions?
I was looking at the Basque towns, so I'm looking for Pamplona, so it has that accent on the end. Is that similar to the Spanish, like Uña?
Yeah, so that's Iruña.
Yeah, Iruña. Okay,
Right.
That would have been my guess. Okay.
Yes, Irunya, yeah. And so those things they don't really use, there's really are no accents in Basque. Like that's for phonetic purposes. But like they'll spell it Irun, Irun.
That's a different town.
No, Irun is a different town, but Irunya, yeah, it's got that, but it's like, it's very rare, like it's not like Spanish where everything, and most of those are, when there is, like, they say moñoño, cute, right, it's a completely borrowed word, and they put the squigglies on it, like moñoño, right?
So, can I ask what the difference is between the Irun and maybe because when we were
Right.
there and we were heading into Pamplona, everything was labeled Irun.
Irun. Was it Irunya or Irun?
I remember Irun. Yeah.
Irun, yeah. And so, yeah, again, I mean, whew, it's a conflicted place geographically. I don't know the full scope of the whole thing. But no, that's, I mean, yeah, Irun, and then there's another town, Irun, which is is Irun in Gipuzkoa or is? It's on the French side. It is in
Yes.
Gipuzkoa, yeah.
Yeah.
Hondarribia and Irun, right? And then Irunya is Pamplona, right? Yeah. And then there's local, a lot of that's local, like that Irun, I'm sure officially it's Irunya, but like Donostia, right? Donostia, which is San Sebastian. The locals don't call it Donostia per se. They drop that A and say Donosti, right? But officially, on all the signs, it's Donostia, San Sebastian. You never see it written without an A.
That leads me to my question with the A. There's that little paragraph about the A on the things.
Right.
Do we get hung up on that right now or when?
Right. No, don't get hung up on it.
Okay.
No. You're gonna, all you want to do
Learn these words.
is read it, keep reading it, expose yourself to it, and it all clears itself up. It does. And yeah, Basque, we're gonna get into that. That A is a very particular thing about Basque. It's a very unique linguistic feature. It's the article, and the fact that that article is used like that. That A meaning a or the. But no, again, because there's organic A's, neshka, right, girl, and that's, and then there's ones where when you add an A to it, it means, chakur, but chakura, right, different things, right, dog or a dog or the dog, right? No, so just, read it, and that's the thing, it's like you're gonna read some sentences, you're gonna go like, like when you, like Maya. Maya's an organic A. And actually, I don't know if it is. Because they drop them, they do all kinds of wild stuff with
just
it.
not sure if I-
But like when they say like Hori Maya da, right? That is a table, right? But Maya Hori is that table. It's not that the table or that a table. It's that table, Maya Hori. So that A, you just want to know what that word means, what it could mean. It means A, the table, right? But that A, it means table, right? It means chair, it means window, it means door, right? So, yeah, we'll get all through that. Any more questions?
Hi. Hori Kalea Hura. By how that? Oh, by how that?
What are you asking?
Okay. That street over there, right?
So that's all one thing. That over there.
Right.
That
Right. So,
over there is Huda.
No, this street over there. That's what I was asking. This street over there.
Right. That's all crazy.
Okay, so it's crazy.
No.
But I mean, I'm saying,
Right.
this street over there, that the street we're talking about, this street,
Right.
this street over there, no.
Again.
Too complicated.
Yeah, you want to trim the fat, okay?
Right.
You're talking about a very specific hypothetical thing.
Right.
And
So don't put that together.
no, yeah, you want to learn how to say this street,
Right.
that street over there.
Right.
And then, without even having to think a sentence like that, you're gonna get plenty lost in the weeds.
In the weeds
anyways.
with all of it. No, I was just trying it out.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's like, and again, that's the thing. It's like, what do you really want to say, right? And it's like, okay, this street over there, right? What you would really say, and this is, it's like, kale hao han dagoena. This street that is over there, right? That's a relative clause. It's
Right.
a this, that, there, which.
Yeah, I can wait to go.
Yeah, it's all crazy.
I can wait.
I'm answering the question.
I can wait. What?
That was a good question.
It just shows you how good we're doing.
Any more questions?
Jumping ahead.
Okay, and also I would really like if you guys, I would encourage you to think about things that you would like to say, that you would like to learn how to say. Simple stuff. I mean, whatever. Just if you want to know, if there's anything right now, if there's something where you're like, I'd like to know how to say this, and ask me, and I will tell it to you guys, so you guys can write it down, and and that's the thing. It's like, when it comes to studying flashcards, you cannot just learn words, and you cannot just learn grammar. You have to learn sentences. You have to learn how things are said, right? And that's when that's when the whole thing changes. It's words together. It's everything together. And so, so please, like, if also with your homework, come up with one thing that you would like to, not too crazy, like, but something, something that you've always wanted to know how to say, or would like to, whatever, and bring that in next class, and we'll go over it. I'll show you guys all how to say it.
How will I greet my other people next week?
You can say kaisho,
Kaisho?
or aupa,
What?
aupa.
Alpha?
And it's in your
Alpha.
You'll study this, and it's in
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Aupa, epa,
Yeah. Okay.
aupa, e.
Pick on by.
Pikombat,
Vegetable.
Bestelat. Right? Exactly.
Bestelao.
Yeah.
No, let's see that.
No, that's uncha. Etasu.
Is that a common thing to say? No, let's see that?
It means how are you?
Oh, okay.
Yes. No, let's see that.
I did not know that.
Uncha.
Right on, Etienne.
Yeah. How was that?
Very good. Thanks for the Blue Angels.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well. Okay. So, did everybody write their phone number and their name on this?
But Etienne's got
If you
mine.
would, and then I'm gonna put us all in a group chat. I know we all dislike group chats.
There's gonna be a YouTube channel.
Yeah, there's gonna be a YouTube channel.
There's gonna be a YouTube channel.
Do us all a favor and don't respond to the group chats. all I'll do is I will just write like what it's really gonna be for is just that class is on or it's not. There will most definitely be some Sundays where it's like, hey, no class this Sunday. But for now, as it stands, every Sunday at 3 o'clock. Okay?
Awesome.
All right.
Good
That's all I got
time.
to.
Hi, Katie. See you next week. Nice to see you. Okay, next Sunday.
You did good, Mom.
Are you gonna come and see me?
Yeah, Lord willing.
Yeah.
It's every. Alright, sounds good. Bye, you guys. Good. Enjoyed it. Fun. Yeah.
That's the differentiation. That is a table. My hoarding
Chairs there, it's got meaning over
Right,
there.
hoard, yeah. Hoardbago. Alkia, hoardbago.
It's still in your, it's in your head.
How loud?